Hello, class. My name is Roger Scandon, and today I'll be talking about the depictions of institutionalized racism in March Book 2 by John Lewis and Andrew Aydin. My research question is, how does institutionalized racism function in March Book 2? First, we have to start by defining what institutionalized racism is. It is defined as discrimination that has been established as a normal behavior within a society. In March Book 2, there are many instances where government officials or employees purposely mistreat and discriminate African Americans. The African Americans at this time were trying to gain the right to vote, a vote that was not given to them. There were many laws that prevented African Americans from gaining that right to vote, as well as police brutality that stopped any type of protest or demonstration to try to raise awareness about the right to vote. On the bottom left-hand corner, there is a spread from March Book 2, which shows the inauguration speech of the 45th governor of Alabama, George Wallace. In it, he claims that he wants to keep a segregation a part of Alabama, and he will forever. I have found the audio of his speech, and I will play that for you now.
In the name of the greatest people that have ever trod this earth, I draw the line in the dust and toss the gauntlet before the feet of tyranny, and I say segregation now, segregation tomorrow, and segregation forever.
This is an incredible thing to hear because it is a governor claiming segregation, meaning that he was willing to enforce it, which adds on to the idea of institutionalized racism. The government itself was planning to choose to keep these African Americans oppressed. Now, I thought about society today, and I wondered, is this happening today? And on my PowerPoint slide, I have added 2 quotes from the book Inequality in America, Race, Poverty, and Fulfilling Democracy's Promise by Stephen M. Calindo, and I'll read you the first one. By 2008, more black men were in prison than were enslaved in 1950. This is incredible. The fact that there are more African American men in jail than there were ever enslaved in 1950 is a shocking number. My second quote is, as of December 2010, rates of incarceration for African American men in the United States was approximately 6 times higher, 3% of all black male population, than for white men, which is 0.005 of white men population, and nearly 2.5 times higher than for Hispanic men, 1.3% of the Hispanic male population. Which means African Americans today are still being targeted by police. And it's not just African Americans today. The president recently tried to pass a national ban on Muslims, preventing them from entering the country. Now that, just like George Wallace, who had a big role in Alabama, President Donald Trump is the leader of the nation, and he's discriminating against a certain population based on their beliefs. Now, the reason I argue this, my thesis is, I argue that concept of institutionalized racism depicted in young comics should be accessible to students so that they become aware of the society in which they live in. Sadly, a lot of minorities are being targeted, and we have to warn them that institutionalized racism exists. And it's sad to say that we have to warn them, but it's a reality in which we live. A lot of us in our class want to be teachers, and a lot of us will end up working for LAUSD, the second biggest school district in the country. And in an area like Los Angeles, which is very diverse, we are going to get classrooms sometimes with minorities, and sadly we're going to have to warn them about the life outside of the classroom, outside of the school. So it is important for us to teach students about this institutionalized racism.